Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Jo Re Mi Fa So La Keto. I'm Jo Re and I am doing a weekly vlog to share my keto weight loss progress. I'm actually not new to keto. I started in 2018 after I had my son and lost about 50 pounds and maintained that weight loss until the nightmare we all know as 2020. I gained everything back and then some, and then in January I restarted keto and I have lost almost 60 pounds so far. So let's go ahead and see how I did this week. Last week was Thanksgiving, so I cooked a whole bunch of keto food, and if you watched my last video, you got to see it all. It was delicious. I definitely don't regret my decision. Staying keto was a little easier than I thought it was going to be. Yes, it did take some effort to make some extra dishes, but I was very satisfied with what I made, and I also just felt good after. This week, I decided to do something just a little bit different and actually show my meal preps. So with Thanksgiving being last week, I definitely have a lot of leftovers, but I am getting a little tired of them, and my husband and I are both eating them. So I am planning on a couple leftover Thanksgiving meals for my meal prep this week. So I'm gonna make two main meals, and then I am gonna make one kind of snack side that I can go to if I need to. So the two main meals that I'm making this week are KetoGenic's chili with bacon, and my husband has been wanting some jalapeno cheddar cornbread. So I actually planned the meal a little bit backwards and thought, what goes good with cornbread? So of course, chili came to mind. My husband is gonna have to eat something different because this definitely does have bacon in it. And the second meal that I'm making is pork baby back ribs with a side of roasted zucchini. And the third kind of meal snack that I'm making is going to be a buffalo chicken dip with some celery for dipping. And this is something that I have been thinking about since KetoThanksgiving in Memphis. They had the buffalo chicken dip there and everyone just kept going back for seconds. And so I thought this was a good thing to have on hand to eat if I'm kind of run out of my other meals. And I'm also including some keto chows for the week. So I have in the freezer right now, let's see, chocolate banana. So I did half and half on that one. I've never really mixed keto chow flavors together, but I wanted to try that one. I heard it was a really good combo. And then I have a snickerdoodle one, and then I tried a eggnog one, trying to get in the spirit for the holidays. I probably won't eat all three keto chows this week. I'll probably eat one, maybe two. But what I like about them is if I'm really busy, something comes up, it's something that I can easily just put in the creamy and make and eat really quick. When it comes to meal prepping, I did want to show my thought process a little bit of how I plan. So when I pick meals to eat, I try to look at ways that I can make them in different places. So for example, today I'm going to be making the ribs in the Instapot. I'm going to be making the buffalo chicken dip in a crock pot. I'm going to be making the chili on the stove, and then the cornbread muffins in the oven. So I have a lot of different places that I'm cooking things, and I can cook them all at the same time and not have to cook one, wait, do another. So this week when I was putting together my meals, I was thinking of first, what do I have in the freezer? What do I need to buy? I always have ground beef on hand. So the chili with the ground beef, that was really easy. I didn't even have to go buy any ground beef. And since I was making a soup, I wanted something that maybe wasn't a soup, or maybe a casserole or something like that was the first thing that came to mind. But then one of my go-tos is always a meat and a vegetable. So right now I already have a lot of things prepped. I have all of the spices out that I need for the chili. I have all of the vegetables that I need to cut up, which I'm gonna do that in a little bit. And then I also have all my spice mix put together. So I usually, I don't end up using all of this. So this is something that I prep, and then I'll use this a couple times before I have to put it back together again. So the first meal that I'm gonna make are the ribs, just because that is gonna take the longest in the Instapot. So let's go ahead and just get it in there. So for the ribs, this is really easy. I already have my spice rub put together, and I'll go ahead and put a link below to the recipe that I followed below. But the spices, there is some swerve brown sugar. If you're not into the sweeteners, you definitely don't have to use that. But there's paprika, a little bit of chili powder, garlic powder, This is something that I've made several times before. I like having this on hand. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just rub my spice rub all over. And you definitely want to be liberal with it. I mean, get all the spots covered, just kind of looking, making sure that everything's sticking. It's really pretty easy. So the next thing we're gonna do is get this in the Instapot. So we're just gonna put a cup of water in here. And then we're gonna get our ribs in here. Kind of a little spiral. Right, just have to shove them down in there. There we go. And I'm gonna wash my hands and get a lid on this. So we're gonna put this on pressure cook for 30 minutes. And now we're moving on to the buffalo chicken dip. So I have chicken here that's already shredded. This is just rotisserie chicken. Trying to make this as easy as possible. My husband always likes to get the Costco rotisserie chickens. So this is about a cup. I mean, you can obviously put more in there, but this is what this recipe calls for. And honestly, I haven't made this before, so we're gonna try it out. So to the crock pot, I'm gonna be adding my cream cheese. This is gonna be a whole block of cream cheese. The next thing I'm gonna add is some ranch dressing. And you can obviously use whatever keto ranch you have if you wanna make it. This one is out of a bottle. It's probably not the best kind, but it's all that I had. I thought I had some blue cheese that we could use, but I was out. The next thing we're gonna add is some Frank's Red Hot. You can obviously use whatever buffalo sauce you want, but this one has a pretty good carb count. So we're gonna do half a cup of that as well. So we're gonna do about a cup of Colby Jack, and then a half a cup of our cheddar cheese. Then we're gonna do a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. I'm gonna mix that up just a little bit. This will take a couple hours. Everything will melt down. And honestly, if you have not gotten crock pot bags, oh my gosh, what a lifesaver in a cleanup. Like, it is worth a couple of dollars to just put this on. You're able to cook in it, and then when it's time to clean up, you just take the bag out and throw it away. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this off to the side so it can cook up on high for a couple hours. While I have food in the Instapot and the crock pot, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the chili. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut up all the bacon and get it in here. So the recipe calls for 5 strips of bacon, and honestly, I'm just gonna cut them with my kitchen scissors. And I am gonna separate all the little pieces of bacon out. You don't need to be meticulous, but I don't want them all in clumps. Okay, and I'm gonna get this on the stove to start, and while the bacon is cooking up, I'm gonna get my veggies chopped up. So I actually had leftover onions from Thanksgiving, so I'm just gonna use these and not chop up anything new. And we're going to get our green peppers in there. So for the jalapenos, I'm gonna use this little chopper that I got from Pampered Chef like years ago. So this is awesome if you've ever find one of these. Totally worth it. I don't like touching the jalapenos just because they can burn your eyes if you touch your eyes after you cut them. So I like to use this, and then I really don't have to touch them. See, look. They're not like in diced form, but they're chopped up and that's good enough for me. All of the veggies are gonna go in at the same time, so I just put them in this container for now. I'm also gonna be using some chilies for the jalapeno cheddar cornbread. So I'm gonna be cutting some serranos with the chopper as well. Might as well, that bacon, I don't know if you can hear it, it's still cooking. We want all that fat to render down and then we'll add the meat. But in the meantime, just chop up these guys. Serranos are hotter than jalapenos. I'm not really sure how many to put in here, but right now there's 5 serranos. We'll see. I'll give these a smell before I put them in, and I can see if they smell that hot. But honestly, I love heat, so I leave the seeds, the veins, everything in there. Okay, now that all of the fat has rendered from the bacon, I'm gonna go ahead and add the beef into it and get it all browned up. So the ribs went ahead and beeped, so I went and manually released that. But you can see like they are literally falling off the bone. They've pulled away from it. This is really hot right now, so I'm gonna put some sugar-free barbecue sauce on it and put it under the broiler to brown for a little bit. So the barbecue sauce that I'm using is G. Hughes sugar-free sweet and spicy. I have some of the other ones, but this has definitely been my favorite. Put a timer on for 5 minutes just so I don't forget because I'm doing other stuff. So I know it's hard to see in here, but this is now, all the meat is browned and we're gonna add all the rest of the ingredients. So that means all the veggies. And then all the spices. So the pork is done. I made the mistake of putting this back on the same foil that I used before. So kind of got a little smoky in here, but these are basically done. And the spices that I added in there, it's like black pepper, salt, cumin, oregano, some Worcestershire sauce. It asked to add some beef broth, so I added this Better Than Bouillon. I don't have any beef broth, but this is as good in my opinion. But I normally, instead of trying to mix it with the water, I just add it in there, get it all mixed up, and then I'll add the water. What else is in there? Garlic, some chili powder, a lot of really good spices. And then honestly, you just let this cook up. So I'm gonna add the water, kind of bring it to a simmer, and then that's done. You just let it cook, even for like an hour. As long as you cook it, to me, the better those flavors meld together. So this is a really good dish. If you've never tried KetoThanksgiving chili with bacon, this is delicious. Again, I will link this in the description below if you'd like to try it. So I forgot to chop up the zucchini earlier, so I'm gonna do that real quick before I start on the cornbread.
Can you taste one of them?
Yeah, you can taste one.
I'm gonna see.
So the zucchini I don't like to make right away. It doesn't hold up very well after you've roasted in the oven. It'll get kind of soggy, so I cut these up ahead of time and then I'll roast them as I need them throughout the week. So the last thing we're gonna make is the cornbread muffins. So I'm gonna be using Shatera's cornbread mix. So luckily it did come, just not in time for Thanksgiving, but I wanted to give this a try. I threw out cornbread muffins, hi Quincy, to my husband, and he has been thinking about it since. So we're gonna make these. Actually, I'm gonna put this last, but I'm gonna put all the ingredients now. I'm gonna add our heavy cream. the cornbread muffin mix now. I have to look what's in here. I mean, it looks like just different kinds of flours. I don't see any kind of sugar or anything sweet. I don't know about you, but I do like my cornbread just a little bit sweet. What are you, team sweet or team not sweet? So I added the butter. It's a lot of butter. And since I am team sweet, I'm gonna add a little bit of monk fruit to this. I'm not really sure how much to put in, so I don't know. There. This isn't part of the recipe, but we're gonna make ours cheddar jalapeno. Again, not really sure how much to add. I'm gonna add some, see what it looks like. I want more. Then we're gonna add some serranos. And I'm gonna smell this real quick. Whew, they seem pretty spicy. Let's add, I don't know, some. Then we're gonna add it to the muffin pan. This says it makes 12, so I'm gonna use my scoop first and then I'll go through it after. So here's the muffins. We're gonna put them in there for 20 minutes. So everything is done and out of the oven now, so I'm gonna do a quick close-up of all the food, and then I'm gonna try some of it. Here's a chili with bacon. I'm gonna let this cook down just a little bit longer. I like it a little bit thicker. Here are the muffins. Those look so good. I wonder how spicy they're gonna be because I did put serranos in there, so I guess we'll see. Here's the baby back ribs. Those look so good. They're really kind of browned on top. And the last thing we got is the buffalo chicken. That was steamy. So this one's pretty much done. I did end up adding more chicken. I felt like the chicken to sauce ratio was a little bit off. So here's all the food from today. This is kind of an odd plate. I guess this is gonna be my dinner tonight, but I wanted to try everything. So we're gonna go ahead and try first the chili. I don't know if you can tell this is still really steaming. So, that's so good. And it's only gonna get better as it cooks a little longer. Next, I'm gonna try a little piece of this cornbread muffin. Do have some serranos in there. Let's see how hot they are. That's really good. Kind of want to dip it in the chili. Yeah, I'm gonna totally love that this week. The next bite, I'm gonna set this down so I don't drop anything, is going to be the celery with some of the buffalo chicken dip. It's really good, really creamy, just a good snack. I love buffalo chicken dip. I keep forgetting, every time somebody makes it, I'm like, buffalo chicken dip, and I forget, I've never made it myself, so this turned out really good. And the last thing is gonna be the baby back rib. So I did put a little bit more sauce on it because I do like more sauce, but.
You like so much sauce? Delicious.
That's really good. The sauce has a little bit of sweetness in it. So does the rub with the swerve brown sugars in there. So this is delicious. I'm not making the zucchini tonight, but I've made that so many times before. I can insert a picture if you want to see. Okay, everyone, it's the next day. I realized I have not really filmed my results in the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to go over that real quick and then go over the new plan that I'll be following going forward. So as far as my diet, you kind of saw what I'm gonna make this coming week. So we're switching it out just a little bit. So instead of me talking about what I ate last week, if I'm going to be showing my meal preps, then I gotta be talking about what I'm making for the coming week. So it's gonna change just a little bit, but I'm not gonna go over what I ate last week. I mean, it was a lot of Thanksgiving food. I made some chicken wings at one point, so we're good on the diet. But going forward, I am gonna try to film my meal preps. And I know I repeat a lot of recipes. I'll probably only show like new recipes instead of showing like everything every time. For exercise, my plan is to work out 4 days a week. In the last couple weeks, I've actually not really been fully on plan. I believe the week before last, I did 3 days and then only 2 days last week. It was just really busy trying to figure out how to film cooking everything. So this week I am planning on making sure I'm staying to my plan and working out at least 4 days a week. And now for my weight. My current weight is 184.2 pounds. That's a loss of 0 pounds for the week and a total of 56.8 pounds so far. So I've maintained my weight in the last couple weeks, which I'm actually pretty happy about because I feel like, you know, with the Thanksgiving food, and I have been eating leftovers since then, although it is keto, it's still a lot more carbs than I'm used to, right? I feel like I'm a little bit more ketovore, and there are more carbs in things like sweet potatoes or some of the extras of these veggies that I've been eating. And I have been snacking and maybe eating more food than I normally do, so it's actually kind of a good thing for me that I've been maintaining. So I'm pretty happy about that, but again, I do want to continue to lose, and that's my goal, so that's what I'm gonna be working towards. And that brings me right to what my goal is and what I'm gonna be doing these next couple of months. So for any of you that are on Clubhouse and you wanna follow Keto for the Soul, I'll link it below. They are doing a 8-week challenge. I know, I said challenges weren't really that great for me mentally, but what I'm trying to do here is just stay on a plan for a certain amount of time, maybe even longer, but that's kind of what I did when I started again in January, right? I put together a plan for 75 days, and then I tried to follow the plan as much as I could for that 75 days. When I don't have a plan or I don't have a goal, I tend to fall off more or like give myself excuses of why I don't need to do this or why it's okay if I snack here or do something else. So I want to make sure, especially during the holidays, that I have a plan. This plan is called the 8-week 8-pack challenge, and all of the information is available on Keto for the Soul and Clubhouse. They also have a Facebook group. I'll link both in the description below if you are interested in joining, but it is an 8-week plan with 8 things to do every day. And I know 8 tends to be like a big number in your head, but let me go over these really quick and I'll go ahead and post it up as well. So item number 1 is no giving up, right? That's pretty easy to do, or actually it can be easy to do, but it's nothing extra to do, right? You fall off, it's not like 75 hard where you have to start all over from the beginning. You fall off, you get right back on. Don't give up. Number 2 is to send one encouraging message to a friend daily. And this is just supposed to be, there's gonna be a lot of us on this challenge. Encourage each other, make sure you are spreading positivity. Number 3 is 1 mile a day, and that could be walking, running, elliptical, like whatever you wanna do for that 1 mile a day. And honestly, for me, this is something that I'm probably going to be modifying just a little bit because I still wanna stay on my plan of 4 days a week doing the Apex Training System workout, and adding an additional mile onto that is gonna be too much. I mean, the Apex workouts already take me like an hour, so I just don't have the time to add another mile after that. But what I'll be doing is adding a mile on the days that I am not doing the Apex workouts. Number 4 is to keep it clean, right? Stick to whole foods. That is going to be dependent on what your definition is of whole foods, I guess. But for me, I'm gonna be sticking to meat, veggies, a lot of the stuff that I normally eat, I'm gonna be sticking to. It's mostly gonna be cutting out any of the processed like bars or, you know, keto treats. Those kind of things is what I'm not gonna be incorporating into my diet. And honestly, I usually don't incorporate those anyway. The one thing I am making an exception for, and to me this is debatable, is keto chow. You can call it processed. It has a lot of really good ingredients and nutrients in it. So I guess you could go either way if you would call keto chow a whole food or a processed food or not. But I'm still going to be incorporating keto chow. To me, I'm going to be allowing that. Number 5 is to drink at least 64 ounces of water daily. So that's a half a gallon. I do that no problem, so I don't think I'm going to have an issue there. Number 6 is a morning gratitude post. You can do that on Instagram, Facebook, whatever works for you. But it's just making sure, again, you're putting out that positive energy. This whole thing should really be mental and physical. It should not just be physical or just, the food that you're eating. We also want to address the mental portion. Number 7 is to read 10 pages of a personal development book or listen to 10 minutes of an audiobook. So I like audiobooks, but I do have a couple physical books that I'll probably want to read because I already have them on hand. So I'll start there and we'll go from there. I'm not really sure which one I'm going to read yet, so I'll post that next week. And number 8 is to attend the check-ins on Clubhouse. So there's one Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Central in the evening. There's also another one. I think they're going to be doing like an afternoon one as well, but it's just really to make sure we're all talking. We have that community ability to share, see how we did, and keep ourselves accountable. So I like this plan just because I feel like it's something that will keep me on track during the holidays, right? There's so many temptations during Christmas. I want to make sure that I'm staying on plan, and being a part of a community that's doing something like this, I think is going to be great, right? I'm not really restricting my food. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm really just trying to stay on a plan and pay attention to my physical and mental well-being for the next 8 weeks. It does start December 1st, if I didn't say that already. So that's tomorrow, or I guess today, by the time I post this video. But please go ahead and join if you'd like to. If you want to be a part of a keto community, trying to keep yourself on track, I think it's a great idea. But that's all that I have for today. Please feel free to provide feedback if you want to see my meal preps, if you felt that was helpful, or maybe you liked the pictures better and you didn't need me to go make everything. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.